Hello, my name is Hemant, and I am an organization development consultant and a leadership development coach. I'm also the founder of an organization development consulting firm named Creative Heads OD Solutions that helps businesses and organizations to achieve new heights of growth and prosperity. I also support the top leadership in an organization to become more influential and charismatic and create greater value for their organization, people, and for themselves. I help business leaders to achieve extraordinary results by working hand in hand with the leaders and their teams. Today, I'm going to reveal the most powerful secret that can solve the complex organization problems and lead the transformation and growth journey in any organization. But let's first understand what an organization is. An organization is a complex system comprises of multiple people and processes with a particular purpose. They all interact with one another in a defined manner to achieve the organization's objective. There are typically two kinds of interventions that can drive change in any organization, society, community, or even a country. Every challenge we deal in the world, including our business, falls in one of these two categories. One, humanistic, and the second is systemic. Primarily, these two factors are responsible for creating problems in the organizations, and creating higher awareness around them is the first step towards solution. Let's first understand these problems in a little more detail. Humanistic issues are defined as something to do with the individual personalities and its related outcomes, known as the behavior. However, the systemic issues are subtler and more complex to identify and define. Systemic issues stem from the interaction of different parts in a system. Ironically, humanistic issues are to some extent, if not fully, responsible for the systemic issues, and they largely go unnoticed. When people focus only on their roles, they may play their part well, but they have little sense of responsibility for the overall results produced when all the parts interact. Likewise, when the results are disappointing, it is very difficult to know why. All people may say is, someone screwed up. And only a higher understanding of the systemic behavior can help prevent such errors. Here is an example of a humanistic and a systemic problem. We all know the increasing attacks of terrorists or Naxalites in Kashmir and Chhattisgarh respectively. Typically, everyone tends to blame the government and says it is not doing enough to control such attacks, or perhaps turning out to be a complete failure at managing these issues well. However, with the systemic understanding, we can see that both the government and the terrorist organizations are stuck in a vicious circle. Let's understand this further. With the increasing pressure on government to eliminate terrorism and bring normalcy in the valley region, the government tightens the security, sets up more monitoring stations and push more security personnel, thus resulting in increase in their movements. The terrorist outfits, on the other hand, perceive this as an increased threat and plan to respond. They either attack armed forces or recruit terrorists, or sometimes do both. Similarly, with the increased activities of terrorists, the armed forces respond militarily. This loop of actions and reactions from both the sides leads to greater loss of lives, while each side accusing the other. Here is a diagram that can help you understand more clearly this never-ending actions and reactions from both the armed forces and the terrorist outfits. Both sides believe they are right in their own approach to handling the escalating pressure. And what is primarily missing is a systemic understanding. It is a system which is causing the behavior. Furthering this humanistic and systemic understanding to a real organization challenge, for example, when a business is low, first thing that strikes the employer's mind is to cut costs, thus causing some processes to change and shut down a few facilities or services, finally resulting in terminating the employees. Let's look at what employees perceive. Companies firing, which further increases fear amongst the employees. That leads to high level of pressure and stress, and employees either underperform, quit, or even switch organizations. Let's look at how the customers perceive this picture. Oh, the company is shutting down facilities and reducing services, which further irritates and frustrates the existing customers, as the existing number of employees cannot cater to all the customers. It results into low quality of services. Thus, the customer cries foul, spreads negative image of the company, and even feels cheated, and eventually switch vendor and suppliers and companies. Eventually, what was started as a preventive or corrective action apparently started a chain reaction and caused everything to collapse. Often, in order to understand issues and problems, we like to dissect and break things apart, and that's what we have been trained to do throughout our education. However, we tend to completely ignore the interconnectivity and interdependence that exist in different components to make the whole. Challenges caused by the system itself go largely unnoticed, as they are the non-obvious ones. This phenomena is known as the system ignorance or system blindness, which further creates a downward spiral. So before we can even start finding solutions for them, the question stands before us all is, how do we even start seeing them at first? I'll suggest two approaches for achieving this. But first, there must be a deeper and persistent commitment to learning. 1. One should be absolutely open-minded and be prepared to be wrong. Because if it was that simple to understand or even identify, then someone must have done it by now. Be ready to accept that you are part of the problem. Your own mental approach and your own way of seeing things could probably be the part of the problem. You need to expand your learning horizon in order to see the non-obvious. Second, we must form a team of responsible and capable individuals with different points of view who can see different parts of the system to collectively start seeing the system, something they individually cannot see, so that we can create collective intelligence. Remember, before you even start seeing the areas of high leverage, it may take some time to develop, adapt, and apply the new knowledge. So be patient and stay committed. As we could see in the previous example, that the systemic problems go largely unnoticed, and it is your own mental approach that could be part of the problem. Here is a short story of an experiment that was once conducted on frogs that reveals how our own abilities can sometimes lead to drastic consequences. Since centuries, animals like monkeys, pigs, and frogs have made the greatest sacrifices of their lives and contributed immensely to the most of achievements we have in the field of medical sciences. However, their contributions are not just confined to our success in the medicinal world. Some of the great theories for understanding the human behavior, like the theory of conditioning, too, came from the animals, the dogs. Here is an experiment conducted on frogs in 1872 by Henneman. His findings hold invaluable lessons for everybody living in today's VUCA world. Let's look at what Henneman did. He placed a frog near a hot boiling water, and it jumped away. Then he put a frog in a container filled with water at normal temperature and then placed the container on a stove. He turned the stove on and very slowly started increasing the temperature. The frog stayed put and it never tried to jump out of the container. And eventually, the frog died. The question that stood before everyone in the lab was, why did the frog not jump out? Why the frog stayed in the container? Later, it was learnt by the biologists that it was frog's own unique ability that killed it. An ability? How can an ability cause harm to the frog? Well, a frog can change its body temperature according to the changes in temperature in its surroundings. Later, the biologists learned that the frog died because the frog never felt any threat in its surroundings. Furthermore, because its ability to adjust its body temperature according to its surroundings, the frog kept adjusting its body temperature to the heating water, till it reached a point where it could no longer take that much heat. However, it was too late, and as a result, the frog died. Like the container, our organizations too are comprised of multiple complex, uncertain, and ambiguous threats. And how we identify them is the key to prevent our organizations from danger. Here are the key lessons we can carry. 1. Be aware of your surroundings and the gradual changes, which might lead to drastic consequences for your organization and yourself. 2. Step away from the situation and develop a holistic view of it, and then make decisions. 3. Sometimes your ability to cope with the change can lead to danger, so be mindful of the changes in the surroundings. Well, this reminds me of a famous quote by the great Albert Einstein. He once said that you cannot solve a problem with the same level of consciousness that created the problem. Our organizations are complex systems, and the systemic problems go largely unnoticed. Hence, if you need my help to achieve extraordinary results in your organization, transform your organization by developing your leadership skills, contact me at info@creativeedge.co and somebody from my team will contact you to fix an appointment with me. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.